Good morning.
Good morning. This is Mark Schoenster. Is this Coach Senatus?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Once again, my name is Mark Schoenster. Just wanted to introduce myself. I'll be broadcasting your team's game on Friday.
Awesome. Hold on 1 second. Let me put my earphones in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mark, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. You can hear me?
Perfectly. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, I appreciate you taking some time just to chat. Well, I won't take up too much of your time.
No worries.
First off, I just wanted to confirm, this is your third year as the head coach of Southridge?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. How much have you seen the program grow over the time and the work you've been able to put in over these 3 years? Just sort of a brief summary of the progress you guys have made over those 3 years.
I mean, it's a historic program that has multiple state championships and, Heisman finalists, athletes over the years that it's been in existence. It had days was Iowa State. So it's been a historic program on the south end of the county for generations, and it's just kind of reestablishing that tradition and emphasizing where it's been and kind of carrying on that kind of culture and mindset when you come into a place like this. And so I think in 2016 was the last state champion, and it's had its ups and downs as the county and landscape of high school football has changed in South Florida. I think it was trying to re-identify itself, and I was just in the right place at the right time with the right administration to kind of reset those traditions here at Southridge.
Awesome. Now, just to quickly recap on that game last week against Doral, obviously a good result. If you had to pinpoint a thing in that game that you really liked in your team's performance, what would you say it was?
I think the Doral game was kind of epitomized our season. Just a physical, intelligent defense that really suffocates flies to the ball. And then, oh my gosh, the announcement. When you step outside, the PA system didn't last for an hour. I think it kind of shows our defense. I think we're averaging less than 7 points a game defensively. We're giving up a special teams touchdown and a pick six touchdown. So we're averaging less than 7 points a game defensively. And so that just, and work ethic and the football IQ of our defense. I think it's a really savvy, extremely physical down the middle with our tackles and ends to our backers and safety. So we're extremely strong and smart in the middle. And we have extreme great range and length and speed on the perimeter. And that kind of is, always traditional in South Florida. You're going to see great corner play, safety play. But I think we're really, really, really different in the middle of our defense. We have a couple of tackles and ends and backers that make your life miserable. And so when you're able to kind of dominate that area of the field, it allows you to be something special. I think we're on the verge of being something very special defensively.
That's awesome. On the defensive side of the ball, actually, I wanted to ask you about some of your top performers because I see you guys have got some stats logged on Max Preps for the offensive side, but I wasn't able to see anything for the defense. Who are some guys who have really stood out on the defensive half of the ball?
Joshua McDowell is absolutely a phenomenal linebacker, all-county linebacker from last year. Is on the verge of tearing the county apart again. Our leading tackler, and I'll make sure we update the Max Prep this afternoon, and maybe because what we're doing, we're converging it from our huddle.
Okay.
We just having a little footage, but I'll make sure that the guys clear that up before noon.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate that.
With Joshua McDowell, our starting linebacker, his nickname's Hot Dog. He's like I said, an all-county performer. He's the heart and soul, I think, of the defense. And then you talk about Spencer Ross, who plays both ways, 56. He's just had dominant tackle for long sacks, physical play, quarterback knockdown pressures. He's just been a bully, and he's a human wrecking ball with his physicality up front. And we have our Division I defensive end, Cameron Wilson, who's 6'5", 220-pound defensive end with multiple Division I offers. He's really electric off the edge. And then our safety, who has multiple Division I all counties, all 4 guys, Curtis Bryant IV, who's one of the hardest hitting safeties in the country. His physicality and ability to really set the tone down the middle of the defense as well. If it does go after tackles to back to depth, you have one of the best old school safeties that just comes in and makes everything right. So that's kind of really nuts and bolts. The other Division I guy that we have is Tyler Brown, corner. Also has multiple Division I. So we have an island of the field locked up with Tyler, and then we have those kind of guys around. Another guy that does go both ways with Ryan, who's our starting center. He does play guard, he does play tackle, who's our highest ranked athlete. He stands 6'4", 280 pounds, a number one wrestler in the state of Florida. Regional semifinalist last year, third in the state of Florida in wrestling. So when you have those kind of guys down the middle of your defense, James Miller, who's 6 foot, almost 285 pounds, benches over 450 pounds, squats over 500 pounds. He'd probably be on the state championship weightlifting team we had in Dade County. Dade County does not participate in the state weightlifting competition. He'd probably be one of the strongest kids in the state of Florida. It's just an incredible strength and maturity with those 3 or 4 guys in the middle of your defense.
Awesome. It's nice when you're able to get some talent everywhere on the field, and like you mentioned,
man, they're great kids, smart kids. Like I said, James is a rock star in the field in the community. Spencer's also a wrestler. He's the number 3 wrestler in the state of Florida. We have to go against Ryan. He probably be the top heavyweight in the state as well. Ryan has been wrestling since he came out the womb. His dad wrestled. His dad runs wrestling clubs and teams. So Ryan's been around wrestling his entire life. Spencer came into wrestling when he came here with me. He's brand new to it, but he's already ascended to the top guy in the state as well. So we have 2 guys that understand physicality, leverage, strength, and balance. And they're cerebral guys. They're students of the games as well. And they're role models. And then they're all counted. When other teams finish the game, those are guys that are looking for it. It's like, these guys are dominating play to play. Same thing with the recruiting. Like I said, Ryan just came back from Louisville last week. He was at Pitt the week before, Miami the week before. Miami loves him. Miami has been putting a lot of effort into his recruiting. Coach Mirabal has personally, took care of his recruiting and his communication with them. He hears from Louisville consistently. Syracuse has come down and saw him personally as well. Cam has right now. Illinois has been really on the press in Syracuse for Cam Wilson. Tyler, it's been UNLV Toledo has led the way in his recruiting. Curtis, his recruiting has been Youngstown State most recently, and Jacksonville State are constantly, pressing him on the defensive side. When you have guys that are almost at the Division I, think if McDowell was a prototypical profile of the collegiate linebacker, now they want those guys over 6'2". He's in that 5'10", 11 range. So I think that's impacting the major media and the recruiting. But as far as play, you're not going to find a better linebacker. But he took an interception back against the Valley. You can't, there's not enough words to describe how sophisticated this kid is. Seriously, he's a coach on the field. His dad coaches youth ball. He's breaking down tape. He has natural instincts and movement. He's so catty. He knows how to cheat the play. He's supposed to be in a 30. He'll kind of cheat out into a 40. He'll be a technique over to gain leverage on the slotting seam and just be in windows. And he's a Zach Thomas mindset, Ray Lewis mindset when he talks football. And I just wish that it was a college would take a flyer years ago and be a kid that you have to bring into the room because he's just going to make your room better. He's going to make your team better. And now with the age of recruiting portal, I think he's not as he's not a kid that you take a flyer on, and you know that this kid's always going to be right. He's going to be in the right place. He's going to do the right thing, and he's on the field. He can only help you. It's just such a win. It's a win now. I need a sense. I have player personnel people. I have a general manager on college level, and they're overlooking the hours and hours of film this guy. Just watch his entire tape. Watch him only in the direction of the game and see how this guy plays, play in and play out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The announcements were loud. I had to get out here.
I appreciate that. When you have a kid go and take a visit to it could be a big school or even a smaller school, just they go on a visit and the visit goes really well, do you see a difference in them when they make their way back in that week of training and that next game? Like, how much does a good visit boost confidence?
When I was at Florida Memorial, I was the interim head coach at Florida Memorial, so I was most recently able to coach at the NAIA level. And we make sure that this spring we went to during spring break we went to 8 universities, watch spring practice. This summer we went to 15 universities to compete in camps and unofficial visits, build relationships with colleges, see what the college landscape, a locker room, a weight room, a practice field, a college athlete looks like. And then we get a chance to also, we don't just visit, we also really compete. And so our kids have been around enough, but I think it's an affirmation when they go in season and they see the size and speed, the intensity, and if they're able to stay for Sunday, I try to encourage them to stay for Sunday and see what they do 24 hours later. They're in meetings, they're getting grades, they're getting stats, they're getting immediate feedback, strength nutrition is meeting with them, their conditioning, they have a run through or walk through or practice depending on the university what the coaches like to do. But there's an immediate, get the lactic acid out, get you, and it's just, coach, all the things you're saying that we have to get ready for the next level, it just crystallizes for them. So there is a growth. I think that's why I encourage those that are being recruited to spend the time, money, even though it may not be easy for them financially, to fly to a Pitt or a Louisville or Syracuse. Even Curtis, I told him go to Bethune and Daytona is drivable. You may not be able to get to Jacksonville, Alabama, but you can drive to Daytona.
Yeah,
who's recruiting as well, and see what a collegiate FCS program looks like on a Saturday, and meet with the staff and meet with the coaches. See the scheme, and we try to run our defense. I'm a defensive coordinator as well. It's like that. We have multiple fronts, multiple coverages, so we try to be as where we're at in the high school level. We also want to get our kids on track when they get to college. It's not a huge learning curve, so we try to do as much as what the colleges do, what we see them doing on Saturday. We talk to those staffs and try to implement as much as that we can digest and execute. So when they get to that stage, they're prepared to perform. And so I think offensively, we see that. I think we have the offensive stats. I think Darius Leonard is one of the best receivers in the county. He's not getting his flowers yet, but every time he touches the field, we have to hold him back. He's 2-3 touchdowns automatically on the field. And so we're just trying to make sure that the other receivers are getting targets, because these games get sideways really quickly. But he's humanoid. Devontae Smith to me from Bama to Eagles, he reminds me of that frame and electricity and movement and suddenness and explosiveness. We have Jakari Johnson, who's also a Division I guy, a little bigger, more possession, and James Gatewood. Those are the Michael Irvin, bigger frame, bigger shoulder, big guys. They go up and they get huge physical hands, physical presence, great route runners. So I think our receiver is very talented, like you see in South Florida. Our running back come together with Williams, we've got him Dub. And then we have a young Darius Jones who's coming together for us, really explosive track kid. Right now he's getting about 5 touches a game. I think we're going to have to up him up because he's averaging almost 9 yards a carry.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that we're going to have to start to feed a little bit more as we get into the meat and potatoes of the season. To carry us through the next month. And the offensive line is, like I said, is extremely talented with Ryan, who's a 3-star, I think, on all the services now, but he's also getting almost to the 20 number offers. So a lot of the colleges are seeing his size and strength, and he's also a 4.4 student GPA. So he's a special kid. And then our left tackle, Shamari Bowens, is right in that same frame now. People are starting to see these guys are massive. Shamari's 6'4", 260.
Jeez.
Very attractive, and a lot of pretty seriously spotting interest. He's a first-year varsity starter, so his is a little slower, but he's a basketball kid too. He's a 2-sport kid, which we encourage here. He's extremely skilled. You can see that with his footwork and his athleticism. And the guy to his left guard is Victor Estupinian, is a kid that migrated from Cuba a few years ago. Brand new to the country in football, came and saw the sport and fell in love with it. He did mixed martial arts in Cuba and said, man, he loved the contact and physicality and His English is growing exponentially. Great kid. Victor comes in at 6'4", 300 pounds. He's probably the strongest kid in the state of Florida. He can do a muscle up, handstand push up with his length and frame. I mean, his body fat percentage is ridiculous. He's just one of the most freak show looking athletes you've ever seen. His football is brand new to his brain. He's never seen it before. A kid that walks into America and sees these guys hitting each other and says, I want to do that. He's really grown to the game, and he's just a great personality, great kid, great family. They're supported. At the first, they were really concerned, and they come to the games now. It was great to see a kid come to our country and pick up our sport. And then you have Xavier Hill to the right of first year varsity starter, Haitian American kid. I think our line is extremely special. And like I said, Spencer goes both ways. Spencer Ball plays a little tackle and guard for us. We put him against the best defensive lineman in the county. They don't want to see him. Like, he's a body slamming wrestler. He's the old school, party in the back, mullet guy. Hunter Fisher, country boy from South Carolina, who come down. His family came south, and he just has a different energy and swag about him. And he's locked in the best defensive lineman. The kid from Palmetto 60 was a Notre Dame commit. We put Ryan and Spencer. We dominated those guys up front the entire, not just bragging, but you can pop the tape in. Those guys are so physical. I think it is the wrestling, obviously. It is the strength and conditioning program, but it's also the mentality and heart. That there's no intimidation. There's nothing they haven't seen from summer camp or across the country, going to, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, the state of Florida, competing at every single camp against the top kids across the country. We came to a season. There's nobody that they lined up against so far they haven't seen across the country. So now you get to put on shoulder pads and helmets and really hit them. I think those guys are really, really doing a great job with the kind of procedures we have and running backs. And then the icing on the cake is a super talented sophomore quarterback. I think he was second team All-County last year as a freshman. He's only a sophomore. He has multiple Division I offers, Colorado State, Virginia Tech. He went out there. He flew out to Virginia Tech. He flew out to TCU and the other school in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, SMU. They loved him, but Colorado State offered him immediately. Virginia Tech offered him immediately. Georgia State offered him immediately. So when you have a freshman with that kind of electricity on his arm, that kind of athleticism, really cerebral kid, a great academic kid, and he's able to come in there with the kind of weapons and protection he has. We have a really, I think, exciting offense, very sound offense, and we're able to do a lot with those guys. I'm proud of them. They work extremely hard. There's great camaraderie and competition in our rooms from the receivers and running backs. So we have a next man up mentality. We've lost 3 tackles, and we continue to progress, to injuries and situations and circumstances. We lost our tight end, and these guys have been extremely resilient, losing 4 starters in a span of 2 months. Other teams would be in a little turmoil, but we've been able to just next man up mentality. We've got continue to watch these occasions for us.
Awesome. You went through a lot of stuff there to parse through, and you mentioned James a little bit here, and when you've got an offensive line and you've got the wide receiving options you talk about, I guess it makes it a lot easier for the QB to do his thing and be confident in his teammates. And you mentioned just a sophomore under center. How much have you?
The hardest throw on the field. He'll have a check down and he'll throw the snag between the overhang and safety sitting on it. And he just has the cockiest it was open, coach. I'm like, James. So but those guys see it different. When you have a special single guy, they just have a different eye for it. It's a regular throwing with my dad in the backyard mentality for him. And for me, my heart's beating a little fast. I'm like, come on, man, I'll take the check down, dude. I'll take the 2 or 3 yards. I don't need the 7 to 12 yard completion. But he makes it consistently. He's very smart with the ball. I think he has a handful of interceptions. He's just taking a shot. I think trying to give some 50 balls, working on explosives. He's just literally out there working on this game in the middle of the game. I just want to see how they would attack that. And so you can see his confidence, and he understands, when to put the ball out there. And all this stuff are almost like punts. So, and I told him, man, stop doing that. You don't need those. Just keep your stat sheet clean. But he's very, very smart in how he manages it. But he has an electric arm. He can make all the throws on the field. I'm talking bottom of the number to the hash to deep pylon shots, mid pylon shots, vertical seams, back shoulders. He's talented. So I'm really, happy to have a kid like that can come in and do all the things and allows your offense to do anything you need it to do. And he can also run the ball. He's super athletic and twitchy and quick, so they underestimate him. They see this little lanky, sophomore-looking kind of dude comes in with the hair, long hair out.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in with a little swag, and he's able to, he pulls the ball and takes off, and he's explosively fast. I think he's a 4.6-ish kind of kid. People think that's not fast. That's extremely fast.
Yeah, geez.
A guy probably in the sub 11 to sub 11 kind of 100 kind of kid if he wanted to run track. And it just adds another dimension to our offense. And like I said, we're in really good harmony. I think as we continue to hopefully stay healthy and continue to grow into our efficiency offensively, we're going to be very hard to deal with, especially with that kind of defense. And kids willing to play both ways, like a Sam Coleman, who's a receiver, plays corner, backup quarterback. Darius, who will go out there and help at safety, punt return, kick return. Not only the top receiver on the team and in the South and the county, I'll go help on defense. I'll go help on special teams. You'll see all our starters. If you don't start on special teams, you don't start. We have a really, really outstanding mentality, work ethic on special teams.
Awesome.
We do work really, really hard. It's still high school football, so it's not as clean as I'd love it to be. But there's a huge emphasis from our staff, and the execution is just you don't put when it comes to the 2-hour practice, 2.5-hour practice, trying to get them out, keep them fresh, so we don't bang for 3-4 hours. I think our limit is 3. We rarely go over 2.5. We want to get those kids home and get them ready for the academic day.
Yeah.
Get them to the weight room, get them in the training room, get them in the film room. But those guys, the time they put in special teams is special. Our kick return and punt return, especially our kick returns are if you kick it to us, you're crazy. I think we returned 3 or 4 in the season. I got to look back again. I know we had a couple call back, but it's electric. They take a lot of pride in it, and I think the rest of our group. Spencer Voss is our punter, probably one of the biggest lane punters in the county. His range is plus 50. If the ball just rocket, it's a grenade launcher off his foot.
Jeez.
So it's a fun team. It's really a fun product we're able to put out, and I think our best ball's in front of us.
Oh, I'm super excited to see it in person now. And you've got me amped up. You said Sam Coleman plays at backup QB if need be.
Yeah, correct. We put him in just to spare James because our young quarterbacks we keep on junior varsity. They're not quite ready.
Mm-hmm.
Sam's just that kind of athlete, another basketball kid. Darius is a track kid. Derek Jones a track kid. Curtis Bryant track kid. Tyler Brown track. So we push the dual athlete. So he's actually a basketball. Him and Bowens are 2 basketball guys, left tackle, and so he comes in as that kind of athlete, point guard, shooting guard, a super athlete that plays corner, plays receiver, plays backup quarterback. He's gotten a few carries and throws the Doral, and I think in Papa Duty, and I think in Classic.
Awesome.
Just to make sure our quarterback stays healthy at the end. And in a pinch, a helmet comes off or an exhaustion, a cramp.
Right.
And we have a guy that's confident that can really execute for us at a very high level as well.
Yeah, 100%. Do you guys have an official roster that I could get my hands on? I know I was able to pool roster.
If you text me your email, I can email it to you now.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I will definitely do that. And then the last one for me, just talking about your opponents coming up, Homestead. What are some things that stick out about them, and what do you think your sides really need to execute on in order to get the win?
One of the fastest teams in the country. I think they've upgraded their speed. But Kevin is electric, 0. Malik Penson, who was here, he's a 2-year starter here, transfers there. That's everywhere in football now. But we've had the transfer portal in South Florida for a decade, so we lose Penson. We had 2 Division I receivers last year, Reed and Smith, who have left off. They're both in the state of Michigan, one for Western. But he was behind those guys. He had a Johnson, he had a Darius Clemens, who was the next man up in that rotation. He had a Jakari Johnson and Sam Coleman. And they all grew up together, know each other, they're great friends. And I think he got pressed and ejected over there for whatever reason because they had some seniors leave out. So it's Kevin, 4. And they have the Oklahoma commit 2 tall receiver. He's 6'2"-ish, electric guy as well. He's committed to Oklahoma, having a brain fart, but he's outrageous talent. We're talking about a really, really, really scary receiving core. They're not the long receiving core, but they're all in that 5'8", all electric, hard to tackle in the phone booth kind of guys. Even their running backs from the same kind of frames. So I haven't seen teams be like that since I was at Booker T. We kind of had a similar group for a couple of years. We had a bunch of 5'7" to 5'9" guys, but they were the 4x4 state championship team at corner end. And so they kind of remind me of that, having kind of those kind of flashbacks with their speed and their frames. And they brought the quarterback in from Jersey. He can make throws. I saw him at Elite 11. So on air, he has the mechanics and the arm to be really, really special. I think the chemistry, so think about chemistry and timing and understanding what works for kids. I think they're as they come together, they're working on developing that. We have a very scary offense with 70 points on their last opponent. So they have that kind of explosive ability. So you look at the Max Prep to put 70 points on this outright. They had to watch it twice. Like, how do you put 70 points on the clock? But they found a way to do it. So that shows you how explosive and how fast that team could be. I think that's really the plus, and it's a little scary, but I think we're gonna again try to be as physical. I think with their speed, I think we're extremely physical. Even with our offense, I think we have a physical component from our receivers. We preach it. We lift consistently. We lift 4 or 5 days a week. So I think that's where the differences are. Their special teams game as well, returns, with that speed they're looking out there. So that's the biggest attributes that really stand out consistently on tape.
Awesome. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time and giving me tons of good nuggets on a bunch of your players here. I'm super excited to see you guys out in the field now. You've got me amped up. I'm not going to take up any more of your time.
Senatus too. I was going to get you on the
Senatus. Got it.
Senatus, yeah.
I really appreciate that.
No problem.
Senatus.
Anything else you need, like I said, I'm trying to shoot you your roster. I'm going to kind of sweep the hallways real quick. So when I get back to my office, I'll try to get that roster out to you.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Yep.
Anything else you need, please call and text.
All right. Perfect. I really appreciate you. I will shoot you my email in just a moment. Awesome. You take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.